talk a bit about sustainability as a driver for change. So, Terence, how important is the topic of sustainability to Electrolux's consumers?
Mm. I think one of the key things about Electrolux is that sustainability is really in our DNA. It's something we actively work on. And I think what's cool is that we're starting to see the consumer has really shifted over the last few years, and it's actually accelerated, right? I think there's a lot of great studies out there showing some of these changes. One of the big changes is that uh, about 83% of people say that they would want companies to make products that are recyclable or reusable. So that's a big jump
Right.
in that request.
Yeah.
And another good sign is that 72% of people say that they have actually changed their spending habits. They have actually bought more environmentally friendly products in the last 5 years. And we see that number slowly going up as well. I think what these signs are really showing us is that it's not just a behavior change, there's actually a fundamental values change that's happening.
Right.
And we see that even across demographics as well, which is very, very reassuring. And what's important for Electrolux is that we want to take more responsibility on our side to build really good products and then have less of the responsibility on the consumer themselves to change their behavior.
Makes sense. Yes. And Mia, then, in your discussions with organizations, how often does sustainability come into the scope of, let's say, product development?
Well, I would build on what you said, Terence, because we have people in the organizations that really want to help the consumer and the customers. And our job is to help build sustainable situations in our organizations and structures where they can work together.
Right.
So it's always one of the key points in organizations to build structures that enable people to collaborate. And if we don't have those structures, it will be very painful for the people. So that's where sustainability would come in our point of view.
Interesting. Yeah. And Terence, I was also more wondering, how is Electrolux then weaving in the voice of the consumer into the early stages of the design phase, particularly?
Yeah. I think it's really important for us to really understand the consumer really well, because what the consumer says or wants to do is very different from what the consumer actually does.
Right.
There's a gap, right? And in Electrolux have done amazing studies. We call it the green gap.
Right.
Yeah. So there's an ambition and a desire, but somehow the products or the experiences are not actually enhancing or nudging them to do the environmentally friendly thing. And I think this is an amazing design challenge. How do we make the nudges a lot more easy to adapt to and a lot more fun to adapt to? I can give some examples of a green gap. So for example, one of the things is washing machines. When you do laundry, the default selection on most washing machines in the past few years was that it washes at 40 degrees.
Right.
Yes. But if you move it to 30 degrees, you save at least 30% of the carbon footprint of your wash. And imagine you have it over the lifetime of the product. That is a lot of environmental savings we're making here. So I think little nudges like that could really help the user and the consumer feel better about their actions and also show them what's the better way to do something and still get the results that they want.
Absolutely. And that was an exceptional example there. So moving on then, Mia, to drive an ethical and sustainable business, what kind of leadership skill sets are vital these days?
Well, modern leadership is based on being empathizing with people in the organization and to lead yourself with what you expect others to do. So take lead on that and actually do those things yourself. And then remove hinders in the organization. So continuously evolve the organization and change the structures. So those kind of leadership skills will be vital for organizations to actually thrive in the future.
Interesting. And then, Terence, talking more about now the ethical and sustainable sourcing across the entire supply chain, what is Electrolux actually doing to make sure that sustainability is not just a CEO agenda?
Yes. I think, of course, sustainability is, of course, high on the CEO agenda. And I think what's amazing is that we have managed to embed sustainability into the Electrolux culture.
Right.
And the way we are doing things. So it's sustainability becomes a measure of success for us. It's part of our OKRs, it's part of how we deliver products to the consumer. And I think on the operation side of things, I think the CEO has done an amazing job in really lowering our carbon footprint in the operations side of things as well. So since 2015, the emissions have gone down by 70%. And that's an amazing number. What's also important is that 4 of our factories, one in Brazil, 2 in Italy, and 1 in Cairo, are now zero landfill as well. So they are certified by third parties that we have almost zero things, zero waste that goes to landfill. Every waste product is being reused or recycled or converted to energy. So I think these are all amazing operations, activities that we have done to really improve our impact on the environment.
That is very impressive, and thank you. And actually, Dassault Systems is behind those two factories and automizing them.